When Donald Trump's Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, millions of Americans lost the right to make their own healthcare decisions. Since Trump did this, 14 states enacted extreme abortion bans, wreaking havoc on the lives of American women and families. It happened in my home state of Florida, and more states will follow suit. And now Trump's team has a detailed blueprint for what his next 4 years, God forbid, would look like, called Project 2025. It's 900 pages of legal and administrative assaults on our freedoms, rights, and progress. Mr. Wu, you're very familiar with Trump's Project 2025 and have a deep legal background. I want to ask you some rapid-fire questions, so if you could just start off with yes or no. These current abortion bans, including one in my home state of Florida, are ruining women's economic security. Would Project 2025 make those economic hardships worse for American women?
Yes, I believe so.
We know Trump abortion bans keep women in abusive relationships. Would Project 2025 make those horrible situations even worse?
Yes.
These Trump abortion bans disproportionately harm already vulnerable populations, especially low-income and communities of color. Would legal assaults on abortion rights in Project 2025 inflict even more harm on these communities?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Wu, I want to discuss what Project 2025 would mean for women who face medical pregnancy issues. Trump's abortion bans have already caused irreversible damage to women's health across the country, with women having to turn septic and get close to death before a doctor can legally perform a life-saving abortion, despite earlier intervention being medically warranted. The bottom line, Trump's abortion bans have led to inflicting unnecessary brutal pain and harm to women, including preventable deaths. That's not some Democratic talking point, that's directly from doctors. A majority of OBGYNs stated that when Trump overturned Roe v. Wade, it increased maternal deaths and discourages doctors from even going into the field. In a survey, 70% of providers say they believe it has also worsened existing racial and ethnic inequalities. This comes from the men and women who actually care for their patients, doctors who took an oath to do no harm. Legal hurdles are causing harmful health outcomes. Mr. Wu, do you think that innocent women truly trying to receive necessary health care, will be unfairly criminalized by Project 2025?
Yes, I do. And I think in particular, some of the language in the Project 2025 document, such as the phrase abortion tourism, I find to be deeply offensive. Women do not take vacations in order to have abortions.
I agree that it is deeply offensive and dangerous to use language like that. Project 2025 is an explicit 900-page playbook for a second Trump term, and it's clear that it targets women. Trump's Project 2025 lays out plans to make sure that abortion is not considered health care. It aims to get the FDA to reverse its decades-long approval of the abortion drug mifepristone in order to get it off the market. The Trump plan calls for defunding Planned Parenthood and excluding it from Medicaid, which is how millions of women get preventative screenings and other vital health care unrelated to abortions. We know the same extreme anti-choice groups that helped craft Trump's Project 2025 would also try to exclude some forms of emergency contraception from no-cost coverage and gut access to IVF. Trump's Project 2025 blueprint even calls on the CDC to increase, quote-unquote, abortion surveillance, including requiring states to submit invasive, privacy-violating data and information about patients who receive abortions. This creates a modern-day Handmaid's Tale. These dangerous, alarming policies will ensure that women are second-class citizens. Its extreme MAGA goals will cause suffering and, in some instances, death. Mr. Wu is a legal analyst with extensive experience as a federal prosecutor. Can you explain some of the dangers American women face by criminalizing abortion like this?
Well, immediately what happens is they're being forced to choose between their health versus being prosecuted, which is a terrible situation no one should ever have to face. The point that you make, Congresswoman, with regard to the surveillance, I think that's extremely dangerous. I mean, that is a weaponization of healthcare statistics to use those statistics to further criminal punishment of innocent women who are simply seeking to protect their own health, and to further decisions that really should just be between them and their doctors.
Well, I'm glad that in this committee we're finally exposing what the real weaponization of government was under former President Trump, and would be again. And lastly, as my time expires in the next 30 seconds, isn't this working towards a complete and total national abortion ban? And isn't that what Project 2025 makes clear the goal is if former President Trump were reelected again?
I think it does. I mean, it sets out a blueprint to get at that goal through numerous ways.